I'm really thrilled to have Sharon here. And I love talking to women that have initiated through our shamanic initiation process because we get to hear their experience, your experience, Sharon, how you have experienced this work. And I think it's really important to hear it from you rather than from me. For one, I can never find the words for it. Um, but all of the magic is in what you've experienced because it's yours, and that's the point, isn't it? It's a process of each woman that does it. It's your own process. So I'm really excited to hear. Well, how are you first, Sharon? How are you doing? What are you up to today?
Um, Hi. I'm actually in the community pottery in Wellington, where I live, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation. It's going to be gorgeous, full of
Yeah,
love and
really,
joy.
really special. Sharon is, well, you'll get to feel Sharon. So let's find out. So the first thing I want to ask you is what was it what did you do? Because that's, this practical question. What actually happens during our initiation year together?
So you're asking me to fill like a very short conversation, all of this stuff that happens over a year into a very like a few sentences. And I think the sentences that come to mind is that actually I can't remember what practically we did because it was so full. I know that there were lessons, and each lesson, there were six in person and six online. And the thing that I got out of those lessons was I can just sum it up as profound.
Mhm.
They were profound in terms of how I viewed my life, how before and middle and after, how I connected with a bunch of women who are absolutely the most beautiful women I have ever met in my life, ever. Well, from my family, of course, and my child, who is also a young girl. Um, it was just profound. There's a series of six in-person workshops that I went to. Before I went to them, I had no idea of what to expect. Obviously, I'd seen you online. I'd met you a couple of times in person, very briefly, but I was just so drawn to something other, and I can't put my finger on it what the other was. Um, but I knew that it was for me. And we it was for me it was a physical journey. And some of them I didn't turn up to because I couldn't because of other commitments. But the ones I did to were um, just profound. Like they changed my life. Like forever. I'm a changed person. It's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. The place was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The women, I've never sat in a circle with women before, so it was new for me. I've never been witnessed as I did by other people in my worst, rawest, most uncomfortable parts of me, like I hate this part of myself, all of those journeys. Um, it was amazing. It was, I don't, profound is the word. Yeah.
It was amazing watching you and being alongside you. It's really, really special to hear your words. Um, do you have any standout moments?
Yes.
What are the, I say hear what you hear. It's like that, isn't it? It's what are the things that you're holding and will remember forever?
Um, there were two parts of my journey in the year long, and I don't know whether I should talk about it, so I'm just going to give it a pause for a moment and maybe talk about the other part. Um, and I don't want it to be like too abstract because I do want it to be relatable for anybody who's listening because I think it's important to share a bit but not all of it. So not give away my story too much. Um, Before I went into the year long with you, Ruth, and I know I'm getting a little bit about it already. Um, just looking back on my life then, my I was I was in a I wasn't getting on very well with my partner. My oldest child had left home, so I was working through some grief. I have um, experienced a stillbirth of a baby, and also my parents have both passed away, and I was estranged from parents. So you get the gist, there's a lot of grief, a lot of death, and a lot of sadness that I was holding on to physically in my body. And through a series of a whole year of really intense practice, being held by these awesome women, and you're led by yourself and two other space holders, throughout those series of lessons and experiences, um, I learned how to use breath, how to face fears. Also, I had a serious pain as well in my hip, so I needed a hip replacement. So there's a lot of pain, in my body, like that I was holding on to. So I was a mess without knowing it. Even though I've got a very successful business, so all of the other things were fine. It was just there was a calling that I needed to pinpoint down some of these things I was just holding on to, and there was so much grief and that I wasn't aware of. I thought I'd like sorted it all out. It's everybody else's problem. Also, menopause hit, so I'm a woman of that era, and so there's a few. I'm not going to go into any details actually, but there was a few things that I learned to use breath, sound, movement. I met myself. I met my mother. I met my son. I met death. I met the magic. I met the sacredness of my sexuality. I met the parts of me that I was holding on to from fear, like the fearful parts of me that was physically holding on to myself in my feminine side of myself, because I now know that we have masculine and feminine energies in ourselves. I met the parts of me as a young baby, a child. I was led through into the parts of me that I, with support and love, encircle, using spirit and guides and being guided through drums, through yourself, through the lower, the middle, and the upper, through the shoulder to shoulder, through the breath, through the front, through the ancestors. And it it was profound, just profound. Everything. I felt like I was just being pulled apart and then put back together again without all of the bits that I didn't need anymore. I think that's what it was. It was like I'd just been and then placed back together. It was gorgeous. And
I
also the
really
most
honor it.
it's got to be also the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life, ever.
And you really did it. I think I said to you, and I keep saying it to you every time I see you, is
Oh,
that you really stepped in. And I think I said this to you, but I'll say it to people watching as well. I think you're the only person actually who I felt completely okay with you not coming to a couple of gatherings. That it just felt like, yeah, it's fine. Because when you were here, and even when you weren't here, you were so in it. You were in it with 2 feet flat on the earth in the work, and I think it's that sort of, when we say commitment, we think of, like, I don't know, a very masculine committed thing, but it's not that. It's when you have a level of commitment, of devotion to something, and you were just in it. And that leads to the profoundness that you're talking about. And I
mm,
also really want to honor you not sharing the stories particularly specifically, because they're really sacred.
really are. Yeah. What goes on in circle stays in circle.
Yeah, right. And it's able also to communicate what and how you experience that without sharing the story. You get the feel for it, and that's the thing.
Mm.
I'm really thrilled. Um, so I think there's one other question, isn't there?
There is.
What do you want to talk about, Sharon? What changes might have happened in your life? Is there anything particular that you're feeling like you want to share with people from our work together and from what you did over last year?
There's yeah, I wrote it down just because I've got one of those brains that goes sideways and gets a bit air. So now I use air and I use physical things to ground. So I've got good tools. So one of the tools is that I write things down and I ask for structure, before we went on. I need some structure because that's what I need. Um, Before year long, I needed to have a hip replacement, but I was scared of having it done because I was so full of fear of hospitals because of my experiences of being human. Before the year long, my eldest son, had left home. I felt so overwhelmed with grief, and shame and fear. Before the year long, my relationship with my partner, was really on the rocks. Had a very limited connection with him, and it was from a place of need to be loved rather than a place of centeredness. Before year long, I had I was holding on to the anger, and in my family it was very spiky. I didn't know where to put the big energy and big feelings because of menopause. That was before. Fast forward a year, you can't fast forward it. It feels like there's such a huge part of my life. It's not a year. It's like it's much bigger than that in space, in terms of space. After the year long, I had a hip replacement. It was a really bizarre. I was 50, I turned 50. I had a hip replacement. I got married to my husband now. I got married. I have a gorgeous relationship with myself, mostly. That's the one thing. And it's from a place of joy. I've actually the first time in my life, really. I'm learning. I haven't learned everything because it's like a practice, a year long. It's for the rest of my life. I'll be practicing the tools that I've learned to, first of all, shine a light on the bits that aren't serving me. What is this? Is that mind first? And knowing that I can have a tool, I've got the tools now to just take a step back, notice where it is in my body, shine a light on it. Is it true? And if it is, what am I going to do about it? Rather than holding on to it. So whatever it is, whether it's mostly fear, for me it's a place of healing. That whole year was just healing, profound healing in physical, mental, whole body, above, below, connectivity with myself, with my children, with my friends, with my circle sisters, with the place that I live. It's the first time I've been able to hear anybody else's story as well,
Yeah. Mhm.
really.
Oh, I'm just celebrating you so much. And yeah, the wedding and the birthday and the new hip like coming all so close together, weren't they? It was this um and it seemed to me, tell me if I'm wrong, it seemed to me that your hip replacement went really smoothly. I think you said the
Yeah.
other day how beautiful it was, and
Shall I demonstrate?
um,
I need to demonstrate this
give
just
us a
because it's
high
funny.
kick.
So this is how I used to walk,
Mhm.
put my socks on, and now I can do this without pain.
Oh, I'm so glad for you.
And there's so much joy now.
Yeah.
Like, death is not, it starts in ending, and then that's where the magic is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so thrilled. Thank you so much for sharing parts of your story and the energy of the work. And it's
Thank
just
you, Lee.
glorious to see you. Absolute pleasure. So much love to you. I got
Hmm.
to.